So yeah, I'm Rick Latona. I'm gonna talk really fast because I know everybody wants to eat lunch. If anyone wants to reach out to me afterwards, I'm Rick@wow.ai. Pretty easy to find. The we are in the AI agent business. We sell AI agents to Web2 companies uh, because I believe that the whole idea of onboarding a billion users to Web3 is kind of silly to me. It's not ever going to happen. We've been trying it for years. I want to take money from a billion Web2 users and share it with people in this room. We don't need more people here. We just need more money here. So sell Web2 people products, bring the money on chain. All right. That's ultimately what I'm trying to do. And I'm really excited to talk about the next slide. The next slide is where I start talking about the announcement. But, up until 2 days ago when I got this contract, our main product was selling AI agents to doctors, lawyers, accountants, and having it all settle across our network of 50,000 nodes. And, with the node operators, we'll receive WOW tokens for operating the nodes and stable tokens for sharing in the revenue for all these agents. Automated social media managers is a huge market. Every company, small, medium, or large, will want them. We also, I do need to mention it, we are launching a Web3 launchpad to compete with virtuals and other stuff, but I really want to get to this. So I want to talk about instant messaging. As you know, it's pretty much dominated by Russians, Chinese, and Mark Zuckerberg, other than Signal. And this is the history. In 1996, ICQ was launched. Who remembers ICQ? All right. AOL bought them for $285 million, and it's largely believed to be the worst M&A deal an Israeli company has ever done because they gave it away at $285 million. And AOL wanted to promote AOL Instant Messenger. They should have shut down AOL Instant Messenger and just ran with ICQ because everybody loved ICQ. And then they ended up competing with MSN Messenger. And then Skype came along with video calls and put a dent in them. Yada, yada, yada. We are where we are today. This is what ICQ looked like in 2000. This is what it looked like in October of last year because AOL ended up selling it to Mail.ru, which is owned by the giant Russian media company called BK. And 2 days ago, I bought it. So our node, we are going to build a completely decentralized, completely secure instant messaging application that's not controlled by Russians or Chinese. I have lots of Russian and Chinese friends, but I don't think anybody wants those governments reading our messages. Or Mark Zuckerberg, like I said. Just a few stats about ICQ. I don't know how many of you guys have done SEO before, or if you even know what a no-follow link is. But it wasn't until 2005 that HTML got updated to even have the no-follow attribute in an href link. So in other words, like now today, if you get the media article with your link in it, they probably have a no-follow, so it doesn't help your search engine rankings. They tell the search spiders not to follow it. ICQ has 450 million follow backlinks. We got the domain name. Of course, the backlinks come with the domains. We got the social media handles. And we got 150 global trademarks. I can tell you from 30 years in the domain business, it's impossible to have 150 global trademarks. The only way to do it is if you had AOL's budget in 1999, because it costs a fortune. Then it's still getting hundreds of thousands of visitors a month. This is just a decline from last year to this year. And it's going to be easy to get the traffic back, way into the tens of millions or hundreds of millions of visitors. So what are some potential features? We're going to have a lot of AI features moving the messages around. It's going to be on a superchain, Optimism superchain that's permissioned, because we want it to be super efficient. We're not going to let anybody just deploy smart contracts on it. The nodes will be doing all the routing. I spent too much time going through all this different stuff, and I don't want to do that. But it's good. It's going to work. It's going to be exciting. We'll have revenue from premium handle sales. We'll have revenue from monthly billing for business accounts for all sorts of freemium services. We'll have features like and like a LinkedIn. You can pay to send messages to people's inboxes, but it doesn't mean they're going to read them. We can say, you can say, hey, I'll read any message for $5, and you'll get 90% of it. The node operators will get 10% of it, and the AI will make sure you actually read it before we pay you. So if Mark Zuckerberg wants to charge $1,000 to read a message, some people might be willing to pay $1,000 to get that message to them. So why would we have nodes? It's a path towards decentralization. The node operators take on a lot of work, and we need to be able to reward them. And frankly, it's a great way to generate revenue because we're selling software licenses, and we reward the people who run that software while token emissions and stable coins as a share of the entire network and everything that's happening. So what will they do? This is me rushing this presentation out. These first two are mostly about the launchpad and everything before we did this ICQ deal. So originally the nodes, we're going to do agentic governance, is what we call it, to manage the aspects of the launchpad that we're launching. And sort of like if somebody is our launchpad, you're gonna be able to actually register a domain name, WYSIWYG design a website, give the agent the information it needs to run your social media campaigns, to reply to people, upload a set of images to train it, choose which chain you want to launch the token on, how you want to launch it, if you want to do a bonding curve. It's very sophisticated. It's gonna be live in just a few weeks. The nodes are going to score the people who are doing it. It'll look at it, it basically based on their score. They'll be able to bribe the node operators in order to get ranked like on the first page. If they have a very low score, they'd have to pay more for that same ranking than somebody that had a high score. The idea is to make sure that retail only sees projects worth investing in. But now they're going to run ICQ also. And more to come. Because, just a quick quantification, I believe that Web3 is a sustainable competitive advantage to attack Web2. I can pay more for companies if I'm driving value to tokens of those that my company has 10% of. I could spend more money getting a doctor to use my AI agents than somebody who doesn't also drive value to tokens in a node network, because they are percentage of. I can outspend people just for that one reason, and I'm not going to stop buying companies and adding into this network. About the WOW token, 50% of them are going to go to the nodes, 10% for the company, 20% for liquidity exchanges, and 20% for the community treasury, which we have a very sexy solution for. This is our node distribution. There's going to be 50,000 total nodes. We are almost out of the pre-sale. I think we only have like 200 left. We've sold like 1,500 of them in the last 2 days. And then immediately after that, we start retailing them for $1,000 each. They go up by $10 every 100 nodes. The last node will cost $3,990. The company's gave us 5,000 nodes, and we have 5,000 for strategic partnerships. These 5,000 are not being sent to random KOLs for a couple tweets. I'm trading them for listing fees if you're a centralized exchange, for sponsorships if you're a trade show, for major media companies like CoinDesk, Cointelegraph. I consider this $5 million of ad budget, and I need to spend it wisely because I am the CEO. But when it's all sold, when we're sold out, it'll be $77 million raised, with over $30 million of it going to liquidity, because I guess I'll explain this first. We also have a managed node service and people that don't want to mess with it. So there's lots of other companies too that will manage nodes for a fee. You don't have to have a technical background. These are also lightweight. They will not require NVIDIA chips. There's not like a huge hardware expense. But yeah, the use of funds. The 5,000 pre-sale goes straight towards development. But every node that we sell between now and our TGE event, which is expected to be in mid-June, 50% of the node sales goes into the liquidity pool. And, how big the token is when we launch is directly related to how many nodes we sell. So what do we do after that? How do we add liquidity to a token that's already live? And we put a lot of thought into this. And what we came up with was using an EIP 4626 token vault. These are made famous by Rari, if anybody remembers them. They imploded for a completely different reason, the tech of sound. But what we're going to do is we're going to take that 20% of the community tokens we told you about, put them in that vault, and then 50% of every node sell post-TGE and put in that same vault. Whether somebody buys with Solana, Ethereum, Wrap Bitcoin, or USDC or T. The result of that is, let's imagine there's 10 WOW tokens and $1 in that vault. Then a WOW token could be redeemable for 10 cents. If there are $10 in that vault, it could be redeemable for $1. So the more money we stuck in that vault with those 20% left tokens, we deepen and harden the liquidity. It's so much better than like buying your own token off the market, because then you're going to have like a mantra home type of situation. So theoretically, the token shouldn't trade for less than it could be redeemed for, otherwise the RBOS would just grab it all up. This is the emissions, which will make more sense on this slide, but what I want to show here is we're using two different linear decays. So for the first 5 years, the emissions drop a lot every year. Obviously, we want to motivate node owners to get in early and get in often for maximum emissions awards. But we changed the decay to slow it down after year 5 because there's still 20 years left. We want to make sure there's a long tail of token emissions. It looks like this. So in year 1, 19.05% of the 500 million tokens that represent the half the token supply that's going to go to the nodes will go to the nodes. So on day 1, one node will receive 1/365th of 19.05% divided by the number of nodes that are online. And then you see how in year 6, it slows down. It goes from 3.17% of the supply. And by year 19, it's only a 1.4. It's still 1.4% of suppliers to say a day. Yes, the nodes are going to receive revenue from everything that's happening. It's in my interest to do that. Not only because of the commitment to stakeholders, but because WoW owns by Cousin Milks. Just a bit about the tokenomics. We are borrowing heavily from our friends at Virtuals. They did something very right. Their market cap is still $1.5 billion, because when you launch something on their launchpad, you have to do it with the Virtuals token. So in order to escape the bonding curve, the community has to buy $80,000 worth of virtual tokens. And then right after that, they burn the LP. So they both create demand for the token, and then they reduce supply as soon as they burn the LP position. And because the token is paired with the virtual token, every time somebody trades in and out of that token that got launched, it creates volume on their token. So it's the wrapping currency. We're going to do the same thing with the WoW token. And there's a lot that's not on this tokenomics. One thing I should put up here is that we have no team tokens. We have no investor tokens. The only way to get a token at launch will be to own a node or to buy it from an exchange. So yeah, we're using the money for more devs, more marketing sales, deep liquidity, free TGE, and the harden and deepen and support liquidity and token price post TGE, and more acquisitions. So who are we trying to partner with? Besides selling nodes, I've already cut deals with pre-centralized exchanges to train nodes for listing fees. My goal is 10 by mid-June. If they have an average of 4 million customers each, that's 40 million people. They'll be getting an email and having traded competitions and the whole thing. So that's what I want to use that supply of nodes for partnerships for. It's like those types of deals. Not someone who's going to treat us out of Compatox. We have an offer for centralized exchanges, for deep companies. We have offers to media companies. We have offers to trade swap players. We have no offers for KOLs. This is a link to them for the $500 price.
You have to use the password tree cell.
And other than that, you can always just talk to me if you want to cut a deal about something. Again, I'm Rick at Wow.